Hi, this is Bifflecup with the Triheart podcast. This is episode 14. Today we're hosting the all-queer, black and brown, Muslim punk band from North Carolina, the Muslims. Kind of nervous. I just realized tonight, I was like, oh my God, I've never done like a more than one person interview.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes. So, like,
well, it gets saucy very fast.
That's
One thing
perfect.
I will tell you about our band is, the interviews that we do can get real funny very fast. We're a little, we always try to figure out what is the line between being serious and being utterly full of shit. So, it's fun.
If it's anything like your social media presence, I'm like, it's perfect for me. I love it. It's like
oh my God, I love doing our social media. It is my favorite form of trolling.
Is there like a person in charge of the social media? Or
that's
is it
me.
like...
I do all of our content. So that's
man.
me.
All right, let me start. You want to start with some foundation stuff?
Let's do it. Let's start with the foundation and the funding stuff. Yeah.
You got it. So, what is your press kit? So I guess who are you? How did you form? And how does everyone know each other?
All the things.
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh my God. Actually, I'm gonna pause you because we did this other interview and I was just telling them, I'm like, we just gotta have like in our fucking like FAQs, like here's all the basics about us. All right. Don't access this shit no more, okay? It's on our Bandcamp. It's on Facebook. We formed in 2017. Holy shit. But, different interview, different audience. So yeah, we started in 2017, and it was after the orangutan that's in there now got in. And it was just, I had this moment, because I had been doing music independently, but then, I've been wanting to do punk band shit for a minute. Yeah, and then after that happened, I approached our drummer, Farah Bahba, and I was just like, yo, I want to start a Muslim punk band. And he was just like, yo, are you kidding me? Are you fucking serious? And I just remember like I would see him in public and he'd be like, yo, you still want to do that thing? Are you still serious about that fucking thing? Are you fucking kidding me? And I was like, okay, bet. We're gonna do this. So yeah, so it was me and Farah, and then we crowdsourced Abu Shea, who plays bass, is a brilliant fucking bassist.
Oh wow.
And voila, the band existed.
So I'm glad you brought up Trump. So I was gonna ask you like
favorite person.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I voted for him twice. He's so anyway, no. So it's clear that like you're like kind of a reaction from the Trump presidency. So I was gonna ask you like, could you see this band forming under like an Obama presidency or like something like that?
Yes, absolutely. I think like I was already kind of feeling over the bullshit when it even looked like it was about to be Hillary, because I knew, I was like, this is literally what these fucking liberals want. You know, they always blame folks, I feel like, more on the left of being about the identity politics, but there's nothing more that a liberal wants than like watermelon black person, just be smiley and be nice, or some like white woman so they could be like, look at us breaking the ceiling, even though the bitch is quite literally just as evil. Right. So I was already kind of feeling over the shit. I think for me, once it was just like confirmed that we had literally voted in a blatant white supremacist and fucking sexist piece of shit, that was just kind of like, it was like the icing on the cake. It was like the thing that just like tipped it over. Because I had been sitting on this idea for a little minute. And then I think after that, I was like, all right, either I'm going to start assaulting random people in the street because I'm just going to be blacking out and being like, I can't believe this is happening. And nobody's going to understand what the fuck is happening. Like, so either I'm going to assault people or I'm going to start a punk band. So I picked both. I picked a punk band.
And then this is kind of like the same question, but just like a little different. So okay, so it's 2020 and oh my goodness, we vote Joe Biden in. And okay, great, Joe Biden's in now. So like, what does the Muslims look like under a Joe Biden presidency?
Well, you know, the funny thing about white supremacists, David, is that whether they're fully wearing their I'm a racist suit or they're wearing like the, whoa, I would never be racist suit, you can usually smell them a mile away, you know? So it actually really wouldn't change much. If anything, I feel like the jokes will probably get a little sharp because Trump is just such an easy target. It's like so you throw it in the air and it's going to hit him because it's just so easy to pick on this asshole. You know, so I think if anything with Biden, the jokes are going to get sharper. We'll probably start dragging more Democrats, if anything. You know what I mean?
So okay. So like, take me into like the song writing process. How do you take the state of where we're at right now, and how does that go into a song?
I mean, real sloppily. I'm gonna start there. I mean, I think like how it fits into a song. So I feel like generally I'll have like a concept in mind, maybe like with one of the new songs that we're hoping to put on the next album, Crotch Pop a Cop. Like that one, the song was written around the title. It was just like, that title is too good. Let's write a song called Crotch Pop a Cop, you know?
Yeah.
But, because it should happen. But also, a lot of the music, I think, just, you know, like we jam a lot of shit together. We just kind of make it up. A lot of it's just really rooted in rage and humor.
Yeah.
Like a lot of our shit is just coming from this place of like, you know how you hit that moment? I don't know if you've had this moment, David, but you hit that moment where you're like, wow, shit's so fucked up and I'm so angry. And I think I'm going to go crazy, but instead I'm going to like hysterically laugh a lot.
Right.
That's what our music is.
I had that moment today. I was like walking through Harvard Square and I was like, just like, I don't know. I had like an out of body experience for a second. Cause like everyone around me was like wearing these masks. And I just had like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what is going on right now? And but then I like came back into my body and I'm like, okay.
So that experience of like leaving your body because you're just, everything is so holy, what the fuck?
Right.
It's that feeling. That's how our music starts. What about you, Farah?
I'll just throw a full-on agree on everything that was just said. My only thing that I'll just want to like correct you on, Qadr, just
Wow.
gently,
Wow.
is that I fully agree with everything you just said.
This is harassment.
So like I was gonna introduce you as like a black, brown, queer punk band. So like why is it important that I identify you as a black, brown, queer band?
Well, first, we're not black and we're not queer, so I don't know where this is coming from. But
Oh, oh no.
So
We're 4 white dudes from Milwaukee.
So get it together. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like we want our shit. We want the focus to be about our music because it's crunchy and crusty,
right,
and musty and really good, and it's fun and upbeat. And we always want the focus to be there, and for context of like why we write about what we write. What is our, because our experience is feeding the music. That's also extremely important. So yeah, and I think like especially because the punk scene has just been like doused, I mean drenched, I mean marinated in white dude punk bands. It's so important to just like fuck that shit up and insert other voices. It's just the most, I mean, I feel like it's just the most punk thing for people that are actually the most assaulted by the system to be rocking songs about fuck the system, let's put a toupee on it, then light it on fire. Like that feels so important. And so it would be sweet to, we play all types of shows with all types of bands, and it would be really dope to play a single fucking show with some other queer black or brown Muslim rock band. That would just be phenomenal, as long as they're not playing covers of our music.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely felt this way growing up as a punk myself, where I felt like way more connected to bands that had like some POC people in them, right? Or like someone who was clearly not just like a white dude singing about like the angst that they were dealing with. And I feel like now as I've like grown up and I've learned more about literally like the Black roots of so much punk music and so much hardcore music and so much emo music and so much shoegaze music and like so many different kinds of music and like rock music in and of itself. I'm like, it's important to like, especially in the time that we live in, to like claim punk music for ourselves as like a Black and brown queer punk band. And then not as like it's like a space that we're like novelty within, but a space that like we actually own, you know?
Wow.
And that feels important to me. That feels really important to me, and I prefer if it doesn't ever get trivialized by anyone in the band.
So
wow.
if I asked, like, if I had you and I had Billie Joe Armstrong like in the same room, and I asked you both, what is punk? What would you say? And then what do you think Billie Joe Armstrong would say?
Oh man. So I would say punk is actually like where all of the tender artists go to get all their feelings out. It's where all the people that are rightfully enraged and paying attention to what the fuck is wrong and has been wrong in this country and in the world for a very long time in terms of working class people, poor people, exploitation, and just all the things. It's like those are where the most tender and emotional people go to get out all their feelings as loud and as hard and as crunchy as they can with community of folks that fucking feel it. That's where people go to say fuck the system. That's where people go to talk about their gardening. That's where people go to show off their cute ass little patches that they hand sewed on there out of fucking rage and love and tenderness. It's like, that's what the fuck punk is. Punk isn't wearing black and, you know, and being a dick and chain smoking cigarettes. It's about, you know, it's about the politic. It's not about like this whole like I'm a badass persona is so garbage. I literally want to get a garbage can and smack people with it that act that way. I you know, it's a tender space, and so it's about disrupting. It's about that. I know what I think Billy Joel would say. You know, well, with the British accent that we all know he has, which we can not explain because he's from California, but I feel like he would say, you know, punk is about being authentic to... Let me stop. He doesn't talk that way. I'm trolling. But I think, you know, I have no fucking idea. You'd probably be like, just being yourself. Because I feel like that's the main answer that people give to a lot of shit. It's about just being you.
He would probably also say, like, fuck Trump.
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea. So, like, if I'm just coming to, like, a punk show and, you know, I just reek of, like, inauthenticity, and I just come up to you and I'm like, oh, well, you know, fuck Trump, da-da-da-da-da. Like, what do you think of me? That's kind of a weird question, but...
I mean, you might get assaulted with the trash can, David. You might just get assaulted with the trash can.
All right, but real talk. Real talk. At one of our shows, some person who thought they were the most
oh my
punk,
fucking God.
the most punk of punk, with like assault rifle tattoos on his bare chest, wearing all black, leather, fucking, you know, like neck tat, you know, like a risky neck tat.
Hardcore. Borderline
Hardcore
spitting on people.
Right. You know? Like wearing a knife or some shit. Was moving out some of his shit from backstage. And we were in like the hallway, just like cutting up and just hanging out with like some other person who was a fan of ours, who was like one of the few black people who were at this fucking show. And then he pushed his stuff back and he was like, can y'all move the fuck? He was trying to get his stuff out. Because y'all move the fuck out of the way. And then Qadr was like, excuse me, what did you just say? He said, move the fuck out of the fucking way. And then literally, this is the encapsulation of that hipster who we're talking about, who was like toxic to the scene. Literally, Qadr made this person weep by the end of the night.
No, what happened?
Someone else take it away from here.
I remember this night really well, if I can jump in. So this part of the night, this is the part where I enter passively because I wasn't there for the beginning part, but we were all just standing outside minding our own damn business. And I had no idea this had gone on, and suddenly this like really pitiful white dude just like walks up and it's just like, dude, like I had, don't like slam us on social media. And I'm like, what? And like, I guess, like, yeah, he had found out somehow that like Layla has a history of fucking destroying people on social media. And he comes up and he's so sad and is like, oh, just like so pitiful, like crying and like, and like we're just like smoking cigarettes, like it felt like such a regular moment until this dude showed up. Like,
all right, so what happened? Okay, first of all, we played. Okay, let me defend myself. No, he, fuck that dude.
That dude.
We played this show. The band that he played in, it was a dope band. Like, other folks seemed cool. Like, we didn't have no band beef or anything. It was like chill. We played this kick-ass show. We saw them afterward. We were like, kick-ass. Blah, blah, blah. And then when we were standing at the back, one of the few black folks that were there came over and was just like, having this real experience, like, yo, I've never seen a band like you guys before. That was fucking crazy, whatever. And then he rolls through with his gear and was like, move. And I was like, bro, what did you just say? Because I said move. I'm like, you could also just say, because he was like talking to this dude. I'm like, you could say, excuse me. And he was like, get the fuck out of the way.
Oh, shit.
So I was like, all right. I like to, it took a minute because one, don't just treat people shitty out of the way for no reason. Like, don't do that unless it's like literally asshole racist. Like, don't go out of your way to treat people like shit. I don't like it. And then also to like make someone who is like one out of a handful of black folks there feel like a piece of shit, to kind of dehumanize them in this way of just like, get the fuck out of my way. You're a thing in my way. Get the fuck out of my way. I'm so cool. I was just on stage. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. So then I confronted his other bandmates and I was just like, yo, get your dude. He's a piece of fucking shit.
Oh,
get your homeboy. And they're like, what? And then somebody tried to justify like, oh, well, and that's the shit I hate. That's the shit I hate. They were just like, oh, well, he was drunk, or like he's having a hard time, or, oh God, he just overdrafted on his account. I don't give a fuck what his problems are. I don't give a fuck what his problems are. You don't treat people like shit. Fuck that dude. And if you don't correct it, then fuck your band and I will absolutely drag you guys. Yeah. I think that. So then after that, he came to try to talk to us outside and was like, I'm trying to find the person to, he came to apologize to us and was like, hey, I just want to say I'm really sorry about whatever. And I was like, what? I don't give a shit about what you have to say. Go apologize to the black dude you just disrespected. Yeah. And then like he walked away all pitiful and sad looking. Woe is me. My life is hard. And then didn't find the dude. So then he came back fucking like, I don't know what to do, guys. And I'm like, what? Now like you're crying? Do we owe you something? I'm not going to give you a fucking hug. You can't get a smoke. Fuck you. Suck a dick. I was so annoyed. But, the rest of the band was fine. For the record, fuck that guy.
I might be pushing it, but like, we were talking about like, I haven't used this word in a long time, but like poser. We were like, is there a correlation between that dude and that interaction and like poserhood?
Poserhood.
I just made that up.
I've never heard of poserhood. I love it.
I'm a poser. I just want to keep that one to put in the record.
I feel like, again, sticking to like, at least what I'm thinking about is like what punk should be.
Right.
Like, I'm not calling people posers based on like how they dress or like their lives or anything like that. It's like, are you about the politic or are you not? Are you anti-racist or are you not? Do you actually dig the music or are you not?
Right.
Are you like gonna get up there, play crunchy music, and then you're gonna get off stage and objectify women, talk down to trans and queer folks, be a racist piece of shit, and tell a black dude to move out the fucking way? Like, yeah. That for me, that's like I don't give a fuck about any of the other stuff. You can literally get up there wearing the boat shoes and the salmon shorts and a button-up shirt, and your dad could be a lawyer. But if your politics are right and your music is crunchy, that's punk as fuck.
Let's do it. Okay, so who is more punk, the Muslims or the Sex Pistols?
Is that
Who's
a
that?
question?
Who's that?
Fuck the Sex Pistols.
Well, what about the Ramones?
Dude, what?
I'm sorry.
Have you seen
He's
Layla's
trolling
arguments
us.
No,
on
no,
the-
I'm
He's
on
trolling us.
the Facebook punk pages?
No, I'm just joking.
Okay,
But,
Sounds like that.
but
For the
why-
record, those bands will never be punk.
Well, okay, so why should I think the Muslims are more punk when they say like fuck the system than Green Day when they say I'm an American idiot, or NoFX when they say we called it America? Like what is the difference, do you think?
Let's just say, just hypothetically speaking, that like punk, there are many punks. Punk is plural, okay? Punk contains multitudes, right? But going off of this last point that Qadr so beautifully made, NoFX's legacy is white fragility. Okay, let's just be honest. Their legacy in the punk movement is white fragility with the "Don't Call Me White" song. Okay, and Green Day, we love Green Day. Okay, we want to sing Green Day songs.
We love Green Day. We love
Green Day. We're gonna at karaoke next week. We're gonna sing Green Day. Okay, like when I'm like washing my car, with my mutant child in my hand, I'm gonna sing Green Day. Like, I mean, everything is about Green Day. Don't get me wrong, but those are songs written out of like a kind of punk that I would say is like not the punk that is like actually trying to push shit politically and musically,
Right.
That is trying to like fucking shake off oppression and dismantle it, and also punk that's like rooted in like what actually rooted in like the stories and experiences of people who actually deal with systemic oppression.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm a basket case, but I'm a basket case because, fucking the Muslim ban. I'm a basket case because people in Palestine are getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a basket case. Okay, not because I'm just drunk and lonely, but I appreciate.
Wow.
But we love Green Day.
I would just add, I think Babu agrees, that for a very long time, pre-Muslims, whenever I talked about things that I thought were too politically heavy for the average person, and when I say average person, I mean white people, right? But like when I thought the topics were like too, like, oh my God, if I played this at the show, a lot of white people are going to be like, oh, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And so what I did is I got really, really skilled at coding and wordsmithing and poetic saucing to
really?
be able to have these really difficult conversations. And then I had to really sit with myself around like why I do that and who I'm writing music for,
Right.
Who am I making the music for? And so American Idiot, we love Green Day. We love Green Day. You guys love Green Day? You guys love Green Day? We love Green Day.
Hey, I love Green Day.
We love Green Day, okay? And American Idiot, especially like for it to be able to be mainstream, check, for it to be political, check, and for it to be coming out of the pockets and feels of white guys, check. It's just like there was a lot of poetic saucing, beating around the bushing. Do you feel what I'm saying?
Yes, I think I do.
That's the thing. It's like we're not gonna bullshit. We're just gonna get straight to the point.
Yeah.
Okay? We're gonna get straight to the point consistently. And we're not going to beat around the bush. Or around the shrubs.
Look.
Or around any other fucking... Yeah.
Just look. So...
We love Green Day.
We love Green Day.
We love Green Day.
We're not going to beat around the bush. We love Green Day.
All right, well, my next question was going to be based off something you said. So what offends white people, and like what would... If you were singing about that kind of stuff and you said that you would like trying to like make coded language so that it was more mainstream, like what would coded language sound like?
Here's the thing.
Okay.
So when we do a song for Fuck the System, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good example. The whole song sounds like it's fuck the, political system, which it also is, because that's part of, how the patriarchy, blah, blah, blah works, right? But we were also, literally the opening verse is, why are men such fucking trash? Like, that is unapologetically not giving a fuck about all of our dude fans, friends, fams, punks who are going to be out there jamming and really feeling it, and then also feeling a little targeted and a little triggered, right? They're going to be like, yeah, what? Like, they just said that we're all trash, right? And, but then they also still jam along, because I think either one, they probably are trying to exceptionalize themselves. Like, yeah, well, because I'm here, like, they're not talking about me. Or they're like, yeah, you're totally right. Dudes are trash, because I'm out here trying to, like, check my homies who say problematic things. I'm out here trying to affirm, like, femme, women, queer, trans folks in my life. Like, you're totally right. Like, this shit does exist. So either they get it or they don't get it, but they, they're usually going to jam to it. But, like, if we were watering that down, it would probably in turn just, like, be a song of, like, come on, guys, do better.
Right.
I'm not going to write a come on, guys, do better song. It's 2020.
Right.
Who's got time for that? People are still getting raped out here.
Yeah.
Nobody's got time for that. Stop being fucking trash. And if you don't like it, then, don't come back.
Dude, the way that, like, we reach out to white people is, I think, like, in many ways, musically. Because we're doing, like, a lot of just, like, really, like, mainstream shit that's like, oh, yeah, like, reminiscent of Green Day, or Blink-182. And that's, like, that's very, accessible to white folks.
Right.
And then they're like, oh yeah, musically, like, yeah, I can, like, dance around to this. And then, like, they're dancing and, like, fuck the cis dudes, they are useless. And they're like, oh wait, hold on, oh well, like, I don't, yeah, actually, the lyrics are cool too. But yeah, dude, totally. Well, we also make people uncomfortable. There's more of that, like,
really,
in the end, like, there's way more, like, making people wildly uncomfortable than there is, like, we can hook people with, like, a like Blink-182 semi cover, but, like, they listen to the whole album and it's like Death Grab for Booty and fucking, like, like, I feel like, or, like, white people also, like, get really involved with our music because they feel, like, guilty. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, like, I'm going to go see the Muslims to feel better and worse about myself at the same time. Like, you know what I mean?
Better and worse. But the thing is, it should be exciting and enticing and also a little uncomfortable. I think an artist's role, who's that quote? Like, the role of the artist, right, is to, like, make movement enticing or make the revolution enticing. Right. And also, I think art speaks to the moment. It's like, it's gotta make people a little uncomfortable. If you come to shows and it doesn't make you uncomfortable, it doesn't make you think, it doesn't make you like, like, then we're not doing it right. I want you to be a little uncomfortable. I want you to be, like, mostly excited and kind of confused.
Right.
But also, like, don't talk to us about it afterward, though.
Yeah, we don't want to process with you. Never.
Yeah, no. Feeling uncomfortable, just don't. Yeah.
I think that's really interesting. You're not only playing the role of, like, the punk band, the musician, but now you have, like, all these extra roles where, like, you're saying, like, white people want to come and feel better about themselves and see you, and now they're projecting whatever it is, these issues that you have to deal with. Does that make sense? I don't know.
I just gotta say, okay, I don't want to be racist, but not all white people are the same.
Wow.
And I know that's like hard. I know that's hard for my band to, like, try to understand and stomach. We fight about this a lot. We're in the collective struggle to liberate each other from these from these notions of, but what I wanted to say, which is actually serious, is that, like, I've been, like, fucking shocked about the different ways people react to our music. And it's like, it's actually like legit. Like, I think Qadr is totally right. And I think, you know, Babu's totally right. It's just like, some people are like, oh yeah, I want to feel really good about myself. Also, like, I feel challenged by this, so it's like enticing to me. Also, some folks are like, oh, I hear the buzz about this band. Let me go check out, see what it's about. Oh, cool. Like, I got this under my belt. And some people are like, oh, this, I can, like, you know, I can like jam this out in my car.
Yeah.
And like feel good about myself. But I'm positive they probably turn some parts down when they're driving with their windows down. I'm positive they don't play it in front of their friends unless, you know, because they're worried about coming off as problematic. Because our music is like really not. I mean, I know that happens. And then like sometimes we play shows. Like we played like one show internationally in Norway, and like the whole audience was fucking crying after our set. I was like, why the fuck are these people crying? What are they crying about? And I was like, we were like talking about this. Are they crying because like they think we're like suffering and like destitution in the USA, just like, you know, the people that we are living here because they have a fucking great ass system and cops don't kill people and their biggest problem in life is the price of beer. Like, is that why they're crying, or are they crying because they're actually moved by our music? Like, it's so hard to tell.
Yeah.
But I can honestly say that I, at the very least, I think like the common thread is like we're speaking to something that is happening right now, and like we're fucking really timely and really relevant, and we're like grappling with what the fuck's going on in this shithole country. Yeah. And I think that's like the common thread that like people like feel compelled to come see us. Also, we're fucking awesome and cute.
all of our fans are gay.
That's also true.
Okay, I wanted to talk about your pin tweet about gatekeeping. So just for context, could you talk about that pin tweet in that scenario?
Totally. So for context, we have a Twitter account. On our Twitter is a pin tweet about gatekeeping. All right, David, you go. All right, so yeah, So basically, for context, I mean, I'm just gonna summarize basically what the tweet said, and we can't name names because we're not trying to fuck up any like band fam that are really trying to look out for us. But you know, they're looped in with some really cool labels and had this like big opportunity come up with a major platform and wanted to like the favorite. They were like, nah, just not going to do it. And also like water down a lot of their own language and messaging. And, you know, this shit popped off, and then everybody started to jump on the like Black Lives Matter bandwagon. I mean, there were probably literal Klan members in hoods that were like, let me go get a Black Lives Matter sign too. Shit's just popping. Like people were just, you know, dick riding each other, being real false. And so I think, you know, all these major names, major labels, major whoever the fuck that has been silent the entire goddamn time, all of a sudden had this epiphany that had nothing to do with the fact that socially it was becoming less of a stigma to say Black Lives Matter, right? But, you know, so they were all jumping on the like Black Lives bandwagon. And then some people were like, well, we're not going to take it that far. And so they just watered down the shit. And for us, it was just like, it was nothing but, you know, seeing on paper what we already knew would happen, what we already knew would be an obstacle for a band like us. Like, and it's not just because of our identities, but it's also how we show up to our identities, right? Like, if we were more rainbows and butterflies type of music, you know, then it would just be like, oh, cool, all these identities speaking about really palatable, sweet dates. Hell yeah, let's put these bitches on, you know? But because we're not, and we're being just really honest and tender and rageful and vulnerable and authentic and in your face about our shit, they were not trying to be with the sauce. And we weren't. It's not like it was a heartbreak. It was just kind of like, oh wow, bitch, wow, bitch, wow, and it was done.
So what I wanted to ask you was, I'm going to tie it into like a previous episode that I did. So I was talking to Chastity Bowick, who here in Boston, she's like the executive of the Trans Emergency Fund. And we were talking about like how, you know, it seems like everybody's like, oh, we got to uplift the gay community, the Black community, the trans community, da, 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 da. And then when it's actually like time to treat people like people or, you know, progress in that way, it seems like there's this need to keep people where they're at and not move them forward. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that and maybe if it had a role in this scenario.
Hell yeah. I mean, the thing is that, I mean, across the board, from corporate to nonprofit sector, you're going to see people who want to throw in some little peppers of Black and brown and biracials and trans and queer and all of the abled bodies. And it's just like, you're going to see that. But when it comes time to like hand over power, right? Give people a mic or a platform, give them a position, give that motherfucker a salary, give that motherfucker like a permanent place, not just a temp, not just a photo op, not just speaking on the panel. But when it comes time to actually like hire these people or really uplift them, then it's like, yeah, no, we don't want to do that. Because then it's a lot less valuable. Because then you're not this like struggling, oppressed person that we can uplift in the same ways anymore, because now we've like put you on. And you know, I mean, there's so many examples of like brilliant Black women being invited to these prestigious universities to talk on these panels about this amazing stuff that they've got nobody else to talk about, and they're the expert, they're the scholar, but they're not being offered a fucking job, right? You bring them out for a panel, that one check pop, and then that's it. There are so many instances of like working class folks in retail or fast food or wherever that are being propped up in these images around better healthcare, better wages, and better this and that, but they're still not being hired on in these jobs. They just want you to come out here for this photo. They need your story. They need to exploit your hardship to move whatever further like strategy or goal or you know, and it's this thing of like, that's where y'all fall short, and that's how you know your shit is not authentic, because you're not actually trying to hand over the reins. You're not actually trying to give power. You're not actually trying to create mobility for oppressed people. What you want is a photo op and a sob story so that you look good. You don't give a fuck about them. You don't give a
Right.
fuck about it.
Can you rephrase the question?
I'm
I'm just fucking around. We can.
I don't know.
I'm
It's
just fucking around.
serious. I don't know. So I was gonna add to this saying like the concept that you portrayed in the gatekeeping story and what we were just talking about. Like, there was another interview I did with something that's happening here in Boston. There are these trans sex educators who are on strike from the store that they work at because it's the same thing. Like the store wants to be like, look at all these trans people we have, but they're on strike because they don't treat the workers very well. They're not protecting them during COVID-19 and stuff like that.
Is this Good Vibrations?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So it's a super interesting. I'm glad you heard about that. It's like a super interesting thing going on right now, and like between you and these other two people I'm talking to, it's like a universalized concept. So I was gonna ask you, like, what is universal about the Muslims?
Oh, somebody else take it. I've been yapping for a second.
I can't speak to this. It's haram. Abu Shea?
So one concept that I've been coming to terms with is that, like, the problems that we face as a society are all of our problems. So, I mean, I, for one, have been guilty of saying stuff like, oh, I'm good. I just want to help other people, like, get on their feet and, like make sure everything's good with them. Like, I, like, have all this privilege and everything, which I do, you know. But, like, that's definitely not a reason to not be concerned or, like, not feel like it's also your responsibility to, like, do something, you know what I mean? So, like, in that way, I think the Muslims are very universal because, like, we speak about so many issues, like a lot of issues that, like, don't pertain to me personally at all. But, like, and for so long, that was, like, the only work I did was, like, playing in the Muslims, you know, and that was, like, if you feel, like, inspired by listening to our music, then there's definitely something that you can do somewhere, you know? Yeah, in that sense, the Muslims are universal.
Hell yes, Babu. Hell yes. And I just want to echo, like, I agree with everything that Abu Shea just said. And I think, like, another part of just, like, the massive lie that we've been telling ourselves, I mean, literally in the way that we individually and collectively identify as, like, minority versus majority, is this thing of, like, we are just so deeply outnumbered. You know, like, white folks are always going to run it because there's just always more of them. And actually, it's like people of color broadly, like black folks, brown folks. I mean, anywhere in the world, it's just like we're actually part of a global majority of people that are having similar experiences across countries and continents around labor being exploited, resources being exploited, you know, like not being paid fairly, not being dealing with anti-black racism, dealing with sexism, dealing with transphobia. It's like they're common veins in these experiences in a global majority, and also, like, a lot of white folks are experiencing as well, right? There are hella poor ass fucking white folks who can also be relating, you know? And I think the conversation, like, intersectionality of race and class and gender and you know, all the isms and whatnot is part of what makes our music, our message, and like Farah was saying, like, the timeliness of that so fucking relevant and so universal.
Where can people find you and listen to you?
So folks can find us. We're on the internet under the Muslims, mostly everywhere, but we spell it with two Z's. M-U-Z, the M-U-Z-L-I-M-Z for our handles. But it's pronounced the Muslims, not the Muslims.
Sorry.
You fucking heathens. Okay? So, website, the Muslims, our at for Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook is the Muslims. I don't know what the fuck the Bandcamp is. You know, it's long as shit because they've also put their website name in there. So it's whatever our band name is, .bandcamp, fucking aws.jeffbezos.amazon.com. We're out here, bro. We're out here.
Okay. My last question is kind of like a Ben Shapiro idea. So if I was Ben Shapiro, I'd be like, you know what? I wish the Muslims would just shut up. I don't like politics in my music. They should just be happy that they're working and just keep politics out of it. I hate that. So like, what is your response to that? And does politics belong in music?
Is it the counter tweet? Is it like, is that what you're trying to say? Is like, what is our counter tweet?
Yeah, like, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Okay, here it goes. Butt crust, nut must, scuffle dong, sling, song. That's the counter tweet.
It's a haiku. I like it. And also hashtag WAP.
Yes.
Hi, 911. What's the state of
Yeah, seriously? Okay, look, there's a super suspicious guy.
What's the race?
Well,